We have informed the federal workforce, which they've looked to do for many years, that if they're working for the federal government, they must show up to the office on time and on schedule. We don't want them to work from home because, as everyone knows, most of the time they're not working, they're not very productive, and it's unfair to the millions of people in the United States who are in fact working hard from job sites and not from their home. As federal employees, they must meet a high standard. They're representing our government, they're representing our country. If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work in their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government, which is something that the last 10 presidents have tried very hard to do but failed.
Do you want to know the real reason that remote work is dying and CEOs hate their employees working from home? It has very little to do with corporate real estate and a lot to do with control and power. You see, when remote work became popular and work from home was the norm, a few things happened. One of them, companies realized that pretty much everybody could work remotely if most of their job is on a laptop and a phone. And employees then realized that work didn't need to be their priority in life. As long as they got their work done and continued to get results, they could focus on other things like their health, their family, and maybe even hobbies or side hustles. Now, for companies, this is a really scary thing. If you're paying somebody 6 figures or more, you don't want work to not be the priority. So companies really struggled with the fact that work was just not a priority in life anymore. But they couldn't force people back to the office right away because in 2021, we had the Great Resignation. And the number one thing candidates were looking for was remote work. This meant that remote work stuck around for a while. But heading into the past few years, it's completely changed. It's now an employer market. And we are seeing more and more companies forcing people back to the office, not 2 or 3 days a week, but 5 days a week. Companies like Dell, Amazon, Tesla, they are all forcing people back to the office 5 days a week. It's not about commercial real estate, and it's definitely not about collaboration. It's about controlling you. And that is a lot easier to do than in the office.
Did I miss the memo that came out that it was like, federal employees don't work type of thing? Like, when did the narrative become federal employees don't do no work? Like, are people getting federal employees mixed up with Congress? Like, do they think that we take extensive amount of days off or breaks and don't work? Like, what are people thinking? Because I'm seeing a lot of people on different posts like, oh, federal employees don't do this, they don't work, they don't do this, they don't do that. They just sit there and get fat. And where did that come from? Because, baby, we bust our ass. And when I tell you bust, I'm talking about down to the white meat. And for a lesser pay more often than not because it's more job security. So I've discussed this before on my page. The federal government cannot pay equivalent to private sector. So anytime you see a civil servant, just know we're making far less than what we are worth. Okay? Like, I know, particularly in my skill set and the amounts of money that I am responsible for overseeing, I could go make $250,000 in private sector. Like, what are we talking about? This whole narrative of they don't do nothing, they don't work. Like, help me out. Did I miss something? Did I miss a memo? Like, what came out? Because it is blowing me. And I'm like, do y'all not realize most federal employees are like between GS7 and maybe GS12? You don't have an influx of like SESs and GS15s. Like, those positions are vectored and slotted. So most of the meat is in the middle class. What? We don't work? I'm like, I brought my kids to work with me. Like, taskers, and a lot of times all these people that be talking, especially when you work for Department of Defense and with military, when y'all see these military members deploying, at some point, more often than not, it's a civilian attached somewhere doing some work in the background to get them to their deployment sites. Like, are y'all not understanding? The Veterans Hospital, the VA and all that is mainly civilians. Like, what? What? Help me understand this narrative, y'all. Help me. I'm trying to figure it out. So we have officially received our return to the office. we'll be back in the office full time for the organization that I work for with the Army. And when I tell you, everybody's just like, okay. Like, I don't know what people expected, like what they expect, how they expected people to react. Because everybody, like, if you are a federal employee, we just like, okay, like, you just taking it in stride. Like, it's like, whatever. And I don't think that that's the administration's plan. Like, I think they expected more people to react out of, like, emotion and resign. I think they said only 1% resigned, and they expected at least 5 to 10%. So yeah, us federal employees are just like, okay, we're going to work. It's another day. We'll deal with it and keep on pushing.
Y'all, it's official. Trump and his shenanigans have affected me. So I am a federal employee. And y'all know he signed an order like 2-3 weeks ago saying all federal employees must go back to the office. Now, at first we was kind of like trying to see what it affect us because I'm contracted. But basically, I only go to the office 2 days a week. Well, now I have to go 5 days. And that just affects my life a lot. Let's not even, for one, gas. I don't use that much. I do work 2 jobs. My other job is like 2 miles from my house. I only going to the office 2 days a week was helpful. I spent less than gas. And then my wardrobe, I gotta buy more clothes now. Food, I have to spend money on lunch. It's just like, etc., etc. I'm very annoyed. But I'm just really annoyed. And my boyfriend, like, I go visit him and stuff, and I could work from home because he's out of town, so I would work from, like, I'm just so annoyed. Now I have to use time to do things that I would do, like, enough of all that. And it's really just me being a brat. I know that. But the thing is, when you got a taste of the good life, you don't want to go back. That's just like, to me, that's just like decreasing my salary. Because, like, I got a taste of something good. Why would I want to go to something different? But yeah, I'm really annoyed. I really want to cry. Like, I'm a spoiled brat. I'm a crybaby. I want to sit in my car and cry.
To be honest, coming to work as a federal employee is exhausting these days. Like, I kid you not. Every day we come in, it's something, this, that, like, I just cannot wait till I get to where I want to be so I don't have to deal with any of it. Just be under a rock, living my life, doing what I want to do as I please, when I want to, and how I want to. I'm sick and tired of it.
Y'all, I don't know what my plan is. I really don't. I've mentioned a few times that I am in a probationary period. I onboarded with the federal government back in July, and so I'm still within my first year. Fun fact, there are 1, 2, and up to 3-year probationary periods, just depending on how you come into the federal government. Mine was 1. And so I don't hit my 1-year mark until July 1st, and that's a long ways away. And I love what I do. I truly love the team that I work with. I love the work that we do for our fleet, but I really struggle working from home. Not with like, oh, am I actually doing my job? It's more, I miss people. I miss collaborating in person. I miss the camaraderie, the potlucks, the fun things that you do when you work with a group every single day. Building those organic and those genuine relationships with your coworkers, and just truly finding your friends. Like, I was active duty, and I have some of the closest, like my closest people are people I worked with. And so I miss having that. And so before all of this chaos really started, I was already questioning if I was going to stay with my job. And so when this resignation deferment came out, my husband was like, what if this is just your sign? Like, what if this is a great opportunity? And we don't know the legitimacy of it. But I don't know. I was already considering stepping away. I had talked with my boss about it and really explained to her, like, I'm having a hard time being remote. I miss people. I'm producing. I'm doing all the things. I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't know if remote is for me long-term for my mental health, and it's just not for me. It's not for everybody. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm trying to get as much information as possible. With me being a probationary employee, a lot of people are saying that the next wave of people to get hit is the probationary people. And so, do I resign to this probably not legit thing? Maybe. Or do I just wait to get laid off? Will that even happen? We don't know. But I was kind of already on that fence of looking for, I'm not even say opportunities. I wanted to stay home with my kids. You know, my husband's active duty, and I really want to just cherish that last year with my daughter. I missed so much with my sons while I was active duty that it's just, you know, having one more year with her before she starts pre-K just would be really good for me, and, you know, my healing my generational traumas and, you know, my inner child and stuff. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. I will keep you guys updated. But I just really encourage each of you to do your research, do your homework, get with a lawyer if you can. People are saying that, and that's just such a hard thing to do at this point, especially if you don't have the funds to do that. But there are lots of resources on TikTok, and lots of federal lawyers taking people in. So I encourage you just to do your homework. If you have those resources or know those people that are doing that for federal employees, please comment that. I'm trying to compile a list for people to reference to if they need legal advice. I'm not a legal advisor. I'm just some federal worker using her voice, and that's about it. But I want to get a list compiled of resources for those that are wanting to do homework within the next 48 hours to make an educated decision. And then for those that might need help, assistance, legal advice in the future if this does go south. So I truly just wish the best for every single one of you, whether you're red, blue, whatever the case is. This is something that I do not want division, people divided on my page. I know it's going to happen, but just I truly encourage you guys to just love on each other, love your neighbor, be the light. Don't let people dull your sparkle, and just take a breath during this time, because it's not only federal employees that are being hit. It's going to be a domino effect. So just be there for each other.
So I just got word from a couple of federal employees that the HR at OPM email address sent out another email encouraging federal employees to quit, this time with a contract, except it's not really a contract, it's an example of a contract, because they're trying to convince employees that they'll actually get paid, that this is actually a contract, that what they're doing is legal and constitutional. But the problem is none of it is. OPM's own rules say that everything they're trying to do is illegal, that none of it's legal, none of it's going to stand up in court, and right away the government can just go, actually, we messed up. And the government's really good at saying, we messed up, we're not going to pay you. So they're going to do that, they're going to say that, and that's it. So once again, if you're a federal employee and you're considering taking this deferred resignation, don't do it. You're not going to get paid. You're not going to get your benefits. Nothing is going to come of it. March 14th or some other time down the road, they're going to say, we changed our minds. You actually are now fired. You resigned effective immediately. And nobody's hiring. Believe it or not, nobody's hiring. And if you're in a high demand public sector job, you're not going to have any private sector spots to fill when 30,000 other people leave, you know. So don't resign, hold the line, don't give in, don't give them the satisfaction of you resigning, because that's what they want. They know they can't fire you. They know that the president legally can't fire you, that without you messing up, they can't fire you. So hold the line, do your job to the level that they pay you at, not the level that you used to work at, but the level they pay you at. Do your job, maintain your performance, don't get conduct issues, don't get on a performance plan, and just hold the line. Don't give in to Doge, a non-legal entity not affiliated with the government who's trying to get you to quit.
If they don't agree by February 6th to show up back to work in their office, they will be terminated, and we will therefore be downscaling our government, which is something that the last 10 presidents have tried very hard to do but failed. Most of the people we're talking about have not been going to their federal offices in many, many years, from even before COVID. But they have nevertheless been paid. Some have worked, some haven't worked, and most of the studies say that some have just gone through the motions. We may ask these people to prove that they didn't have another job during their so-called employment with the United States of America, because if they did, that would be unlawful, as you understand. A lot of people are getting paychecks, but they're actually working other jobs, so they'll have to prove that to us that they weren't. In any event, we're requiring them to show up to work or be terminated. We think a very substantial number of people will not show up to work, and therefore our government will get smaller and more efficient, and that's what we've been looking to do for many, many decades, frankly.
Well, folks, I did it. I went ahead and submitted my resign email to OPM today. After talking to my family and my friends and my kids and people here on the app, a lot of really good comments, I still thought it was the best thing for me to do in my personal situation. So I submitted it today around 1:30 p.m. and I waited a couple hours. I was expecting to get back an automated response, but I didn't. So I was asking other people. I sent an email to HR, and they had no idea. I was just getting a little bit nervous because this is possibly the most important email that I ever sent. Finally, tonight, around 4:45, I got an email response back that simply said, "We received your email response. We will reply shortly." So this is just the beginning for us now. There's a lot to follow. This is just the beginning. There will be a contract. Actually, there was actually a memo from the acting director of OPM that was released today, I do believe, and it was entitled "The Legality of Deferred Resignation Program." And there's actually a sample contract that's inside of it. It's got a lot of information. I might do another video on that, but that's definitely not my area of expertise, but there's a lot of good information in there. So stick around.
Hi, I'm a federal employee working at NASA. Yesterday afternoon, I made the gut-wrenching decision to resign. Let me explain why. I've been working at NASA for 3 years remotely. I live in Texas and I report to Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Though I understand the push for federal employees to hold the line, and myself have some healthy suspicion on how the government plans to pay us out until September 30th, I have to think about my family first. It is likely there will be efforts to continue downsizing the federal workforce even after the deferred resignation deadline. Because of this, many remote distance employees cannot relocate in good faith, knowing that their position will still be on the line. It's important to remember that civil servants are American citizens too, and many of us are resigning because we feel as though we have no other choice.
For the last 14 and a half years, I've dedicated my life and my career to being a civil servant for our United States government. I've served a very important sector of our population. I've literally given 5 days a week for the last 14 and a half years to serving our country and serving our government. See, like so many other people who get into government service, I got in because of job security and future earnings with, a pension and a retirement. And now that's being threatened against me. In 2 days or so, myself and many others have a deadline to resign from our careers we've given so much to. And part of me wants to do that. There's a small part of me who wants to do that. Just for the sheer principle of it. See, the email we got said you get to resign and not work for the next 8 months and still get paid. Or you can return to work, but we can't guarantee your position. There's still uncertainty around your position. I don't like uncertainty. Part of me just wants to, hit resign And then at least I know what the future holds. Then I know I can control my future instead of waiting every day in limbo for another email to come in basically saying, oh, you're terminated for no damn reason. Because that's what it is. No damn reason. It's not based off of, quality of work. It's not based on merit. It's not based on anything else. My end of year appraisal evaluations have been outstanding every single year, the highest you can get. I've met every expectation. And now I may lose my career for no reason. Yeah. So yeah, part of me wants to hit that button and choose the path of certainty. The other half of me says, what do you do come October 1st? Will you have another job lined up for then? You have bills to pay. You have kids to feed. The last 2 weeks have been so damn stressful. Every single day. Every single day has been nothing but stress. And we're not getting any answers from our employer. Yeah.
I'm a lawyer in real life. I don't play one on television. There is some breaking news for federal employees. A judge in Massachusetts has just issued a temporary restraining order on the decision for federal employees to elect to take the buyouts that are being offered. The deadline was today at 11:59 p.m. Today is Thursday, February 6th. The judge has paused that. The judge has paused it until at least Monday, when there is going to be a hearing. So if you were in a position where you were unsure, you were still trying to make up your mind, you didn't know what to do, you wanted more information, well, this lawsuit has given you just a little bit more time, at least until Monday when they have the hearing. So it's been paused. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you are a fork or a spoon. Which direction were you going in regards to accepting this buyout? Do you think you have all the information you need? Let me know what you think in the comments.